Welcome to Human Stories, where every journey inspires a new beginning. From humble beginnings to extraordinary triumphs, each story reminds us that ordinary people can achieve the extraordinary. Let's begin today's journey. Life and childhood. In 1955, San Francisco welcomed a baby named Stephen Paul Jobs. Soon after, he was adopted by Paul and Clara Jobs, a modest yet loving couple. Growing up in Mountain View, Steve was surrounded by electronics and endless curiosity. His father often showed him how to take apart and rebuild radios, sparking a deep fascination with how things worked. By high school, Steve was not only drawn to machines, but also to the idea of blending technology with creativity. It was here he met Steve Wozniak, a fellow enthusiast whose friendship would later shape history. Even as a teenager, Jobs carried a restless spirit. Rules never confined him. He was always searching, questioning, and dreaming of something larger, a journey that was only beginning. College years and birth of Apple. In 1972, Steve Jobs enrolled at Reed College in Oregon. But tuition was expensive, and after 6 months, he dropped out. Still, he stayed on campus, sleeping on friends' floors, and sneaking into classes he found inspiring, especially calligraphy, which would later shape Apple's design philosophy. Jobs was restless, searching for purpose. Reuniting with his high school friend Steve Wozniak, the two began tinkering with electronics in a small garage. In 1976, their efforts gave birth to the first Apple computer. Built with vision but little money, Jobs sold his Volkswagen van, Wozniak sold his calculator, and together they created the foundation of what would become Apple Inc. From that garage, a revolution in technology quietly began. Apple II and first rise. By 1977, Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak introduced the Apple II, one of the first highly successful personal computers. Unlike the hobbyist machines of the era, it was sleek, user-friendly, and designed for everyday people. The success was explosive. Apple went public in 1980, making Jobs a multimillionaire before age 30. Yet wealth was never his true goal. He wanted to change the way people interacted with technology. Jobs pushed his team with intensity, demanding perfection and creativity. His vision was clear. Computers should not just work, they should inspire. Apple quickly became a symbol of innovation, with Jobs at the center, young, ambitious, and determined to reshape the future. But success was only the beginning of a journey filled with both triumphs and painful lessons. Macintosh dream and ouster. In 1984, Apple launched the Macintosh, introduced with a legendary Super Bowl ad. It was bold, creative, and unlike anything seen before. But behind the scenes, tension grew. Jobs' relentless drive clashed with Apple's board and CEO John Sculley. His perfectionism, though visionary, made collaboration difficult. By 1985, the conflict exploded. In a shocking twist, Jobs, the very man who co-founded Apple, was forced out of his own company. At just 30, he faced public failure and personal heartbreak. Yet deep inside, Jobs refused to be defeated. This painful chapter was not an end, but the beginning of a new quest for meaning, creativity, and redemption. Next, Pixar and Road Back. After leaving Apple in 1985, Jobs founded Next, a company focused on advanced computers for education and business. Though commercially limited, its technology was ahead of its time and would later play a vital role in Apple's future. At the same time, Jobs bought a small graphic studio from George Lucas, a risky bet that became Pixar. Against all odds, Pixar transformed animation with Toy Story in 1995, the first fully computer animated feature film. The success was historic, cementing Pixar as a giant in entertainment. Jobs had risen from failure, proving his ability to turn setbacks into triumphs. Meanwhile, Apple was struggling without him, and destiny was preparing to bring Steve Jobs back to the company he once founded. Return and iMac revolution. In 1997, after years of decline, Apple was on the brink of collapse. That's when Steve Jobs returned through Apple's purchase of Next. His comeback was electric. Jobs brought focus, cutting unnecessary projects and reigniting a culture of bold design. In 1998, he introduced the colorful, playful iMac, a computer that wasn't just powerful, it was beautiful. The iMac captured global attention, signaling Apple's rebirth. Jobs brought focus, cutting unnecessary projects and reigniting a culture of bold design. Vision was clear. Technology should merge with art, simplicity, and joy. His leadership transformed Apple from near bankruptcy into a company on the path to becoming a global icon. The stage was now set for innovations that would redefine entire industries. iPod and music revolution. In 2001, Steve Jobs unveiled the iPod, a sleek white device that promised to put 1,000 songs in your pocket. It wasn't just a gadget, it was a cultural shift. The iPod changed the way people experienced music, blending design, portability, and simplicity. But Jobs didn't stop there. In 2003, Apple launched the iTunes Store, making it easy and legal to buy songs digitally. This move reshaped the entire music industry, saving it from piracy and pushing Apple to the center of digital entertainment. Once again, Jobs proved his genius, combining technology and creativity to transform everyday life. The world was beginning to see Apple not just as a computer company, but as an innovation powerhouse. iPhone and smartphone revolution. In 2007, Steve Jobs walked onto the stage and introduced a product that would change the world. The iPhone, with a touchscreen, internet access, and sleek design. It was unlike anything seen before. Jobs declared it a phone, an iPod, and an internet communicator, all in one. The audience erupted, sensing history was being made. The iPhone didn't just create a new device, it reinvented the way humans communicate, work, and live. Entire industries were reshaped, from software and gaming to photography and media. Jobs' relentless pursuit of simplicity and elegance had produced a revolution in people's pockets. With the iPhone, Apple became more than a tech company. It became a cultural force shaping the future. iPad and expanding the ecosystem. In 2010, Steve Jobs introduced the iPad, a device bridging the gap between smartphone and laptop. Critics were skeptical, calling it unnecessary. But once again, Jobs proved them wrong. The iPad's simplicity, speed, and beauty captured imaginations worldwide, redefining how people read, work, and play. It wasn't just a product, it was part of a larger vision. Jobs had built an ecosystem where iMacs, iPods, iPhones, and now iPads worked seamlessly together, powered by iTunes and the App Store. Apple wasn't just selling gadgets, it was shaping a lifestyle of connected technology. The company's rise under Jobs became one of the greatest comebacks in business history, and the momentum was unstoppable. Leadership style and philosophy. Steve Jobs was more than a CEO. He was a visionary leader. Known for his intensity and perfectionism, he pushed teams beyond their limits, demanding excellence in every detail. His style could be tough, even harsh, but it was rooted in a belief that great products required passion and precision. Jobs often said, "Design is not just what it looks like and feels like. Design is how it works." He believed in simplicity, focus, and the courage to think differently. To Jobs, technology wasn't about machines. It was about enriching human lives. His leadership philosophy shaped Apple's culture, inspiring employees to create products that merged art with innovation, leaving a legacy of boldness and creativity, health struggles and resilience. In 2003, Steve Jobs was diagnosed with a rare form of pancreatic cancer. True to his private nature, he kept much of the battle quiet, even as his health visibly declined. Yet he continued to lead Apple with remarkable determination, unveiling groundbreaking products while fighting for his life. In 2009, he underwent a liver transplant, returning to the stage months later, thinner but still full of passion. Each time he appeared, audiences erupted in applause, not just for the products, but for his courage. Jobs showed the world that resilience is not the absence of struggle, but the will to keep creating, even in the face of mortality. Legacy products and final years. In his final years, Steve Jobs poured his energy into products that would outlast him. The iPhone, iPad, and MacBook continued to evolve, shaping the modern digital world. Even as his health weakened, Jobs worked tirelessly, reviewing designs and guiding his team with unwavering focus. In August 2011, he resigned as Apple's CEO, handing the role to Tim Cook, but remaining Apple's spiritual force. Just weeks later, on October 5th, 2011, Steve Jobs passed away at age 56. The world mourned not just a businessman, but a visionary who forever changed technology, design, and culture. His story proved that with vision, courage, and resilience, one person can truly leave a dent in the universe. Global impact and inspiration. Steve Jobs' legacy extends far beyond Apple. He changed how we communicate, work, learn, and dream. From Pixar's magic on the big screen to the iPhone in our pockets, his influence touches billions daily. Jobs taught us that true innovation comes from connecting technology with art, logic with imagination. His story is not just about success, but about perseverance, turning failure into fuel and vision into reality. Jobs once said, "The people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do." His life proves that ordinary people with extraordinary vision can indeed transform the future. Space company Blue Origin also fueled controversy. Supporters saw it as visionary, a step toward humanity's future among the stars. But critics dismissed it as billionaires competing for prestige while urgent problems on Earth remained unresolved. Some argued that instead of rockets, wealth should go to fighting poverty or climate change. Bezos countered that humanity must expand beyond Earth to protect future generations. These controversies show us a lesson. True pioneers walk a path of both admiration and opposition. To change the world is to accept both applause and criticism as part of the Amazon's business practices. Jeff Bezos himself became a symbol of extreme wealth. For years, he was the richest man alive, his fortune surpassing hundreds of billions. Yet, this wealth came during a time when many struggled with low wages and rising inequality. Critics questioned whether one individual should hold such vast resources while others lacked basic needs. At the same time, some defended Bezos, noting that Amazon created millions of jobs and services that reshaped daily life. The debate continues. Is such fortune a reward for risk and vision, or a reflection of deeper inequality? Bezos built Amazon into a giant admired for speed, convenience, and innovation. But with this success came criticism. Many pointed to harsh warehouse conditions, where workers faced intense pressure to meet targets. Stories of long hours, little rest, and constant surveillance sparked debates about the human cost of efficiency. Small businesses also raised concerns that Amazon's dominance pushed them aside, leaving little room to compete. Critics argued that while customers benefited, others paid a heavy price. This raised an important question. Can innovation scale without affecting those at the foundation? Came in 2015, when Bezos' space company, Blue Origin, achieved what many thought impossible, launching and safely landing a reusable rocket. This was more than engineering. It was vision. Bezos proved that space travel could become sustainable and affordable in the future. Finally, in 2021, he stepped down as Amazon's CEO. To many, it was a shock, but for Bezos, it was another turning point, a chance to focus on space exploration, philanthropy, and long-term projects. Each turning point reminds us, transformation happens when courage meets opportunity. In 2005, Bezos launched Amazon Prime, a membership program offering free 2-day shipping. Many doubted it, claiming it would bleed money. Yet this bold move transformed customer loyalty forever. Prime was not just about shipping. It built a community of millions who trusted Amazon for convenience and value. Later, Prime Video expanded the brand into entertainment, showing that innovation could touch every aspect of life. This moment marked Amazon's shift from being just an online bookstore to becoming a global ecosystem that shaped how the world shopped, streamed, and defining moment came during the dot-com crash of 2000. Countless internet companies failed overnight. Amazon itself lost 90% of its stock value, and many believed it wouldn't survive. Critics mocked Bezos, calling Amazon Amazon bomb. Yet he remained unshaken. Instead of retreating, he doubled down on his long-term vision, focusing relentlessly on customer trust. He reminded his team that what mattered wasn't the market's opinion today, but the company's ability to serve customers tomorrow. That resilience carried Amazon through the storm when others vanished. Great turning point in Jeff Bezos' journey came in 1994. At the time, he had a secure and lucrative career on Wall Street, but Bezos noticed a staggering statistic. The internet was growing at more than 2,000% per year. He realized this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Quitting his job was risky, yet he chose courage over comfort. With his wife, Mackenzie, he drove across the country to Seattle and began building Amazon from a garage. This leap of faith was not just about starting a business. It was about daring to chase the unknown. Perhaps most powerful lesson is always be day one. Bezos repeated this mantra constantly. Day one meant working with the energy and curiosity of a startup, no matter how big Amazon became. It meant rejecting complacency, staying hungry, and daring to innovate as if the journey had just begun. Combined, these 5 lessons, obsession with customers, long-term vision, embracing failure, simplifying innovation, and staying day one, form a blueprint for anyone seeking to build something lasting. They remind us that extraordinary impact is built on consistent principles. Third lesson is embrace failure. Bezos often said that Amazon's failures were the price of boldness. From the Fire Phone to countless experiments that never worked, he accepted losses as necessary for progress. Without failure, there can be no true innovation. The fourth lesson is invent and simplify. Bezos encouraged teams to remove complexity and think with clarity. Innovation, he believed, should make life easier, not harder. These lessons reveal a truth. Success does not come from avoiding mistakes, but from learning quickly and creating simple solutions for Bezos's journey gives us timeless lessons for life and business. The first is customer obsession. From the very beginning, Bezos insisted that every decision should focus on customers, not competitors. This mindset shaped Amazon's growth, turning buyers into loyal fans. The second lesson is think long-term. While others chased quick profits, Bezos built patiently, often sacrificing short-term gains to secure a stronger future. He believed success belonged to those willing to plant seeds today for forests tomorrow. These first two lessons remind us, greatness begins by serving others and staying committed to the long game. Quote is, "What's dangerous is not to evolve." Bezos believed stagnation was riskier than change, urging people to embrace adaptation. He also declared, "Work hard, have fun, make history." This became Amazon's internal motto, inspiring teams to build beyond limits. Finally, his timeless line, "I knew that if I failed, I wouldn't regret that. But I knew the one thing I might regret is not trying." These words reflect courage, the heart of Bezos's journey. Together, his quotes challenge us to take bold steps, embrace risks, and pursue lives without regret. Often shared words that inspire not only entrepreneurs, but anyone chasing dreams. One of his most famous quotes is, "If you double the number of experiments you do each year, you're going to double your inventiveness." This reminds us that progress comes from action, not hesitation. Another powerful quote is, "Your margin is my opportunity." Here, Bezos revealed his relentless drive to challenge comfort zones and reinvent industries. He also said, "In the end, we are our choices." A simple truth showing that our destiny is shaped by decisions we make every single day. Bezos's legacy stretches into philanthropy and culture. Through the Bezos Earth Fund, he pledged billions to fight climate change. His ventures in media, like acquiring the Washington Post, showed his influence beyond business and technology. Yet his legacy is not free from criticism. Questions of labor rights and wealth inequality remain tied to his name. Still, his impact is undeniable. He redefined e-commerce, revolutionized cloud computing, fueled private space exploration, and pushed conversations about innovation, leadership, and responsibility. His story will echo as a blueprint of ambition in modern history. He also left a mark on space exploration through Blue Origin, with the mission of building a road to space so our children can build the future. He invested billions into rocket technology. While critics saw it as a billionaire's hobby, Bezos insisted it was about humanity's survival, making Earth a better place by moving heavy industry into space. His vision keeps alive the dream of multi-planetary life, alongside other pioneers. Whether or not Blue Origin surpasses its rivals, it has already advanced rocket reusability and inspired a new era of private space exploration. Retail. Bezos's impact is seen in technology and cloud computing. Amazon Web Services, once a side project, turned into the backbone of the modern internet. Today, AWS powers startups, governments, and global corporations, making cloud computing accessible and scalable. This innovation alone positioned Amazon not just as a retailer, but as a tech giant with unmatched influence. Bezos proved that thinking long-term and investing in infrastructure can redefine entire industries. His legacy includes building systems that others rely on to innovate, grow, and compete in the digital world. Bezos' legacy begins with how he reshaped commerce forever. Amazon started as an online bookstore, but under his leadership, it became a global marketplace that transformed how billions shop. His focus on customer obsession and relentless innovation set a new standard for businesses. By building advanced logistics, one-click shopping, and Prime membership, Bezos didn't just grow a company. He changed consumer behavior on a worldwide scale. His vision created an ecosystem where convenience became an expectation, shaping the digital economy of the 21st century. This was another chapter in human stories. May it inspire your own path forward. Don't forget to subscribe and join us as we share more journeys of courage, vision, and resilience. Until next time, keep believing in your story.